That corruption scandal has now reached the office of President Zelensky's chief of staff.
Yes, and it really was only a matter of time before this would happen. This scandal has really consumed this country over the last few weeks since it emerged that the two key anti-corruption authorities had been investigating a plot into the skimming of around $100 million off Ukraine's energy sector, allegedly involving top officials close to Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president. And it is particularly painful for the people of Ukraine to hear about this scandal, given that this country right now is experiencing horrendous blackouts and has been ever since the start of the full-scale invasion, given that Russia has been repeatedly targeting Ukrainian energy infrastructure. So the idea that top officials allegedly getting rich off the back of the suffering of Ukraine in this war is a particularly poisonous element to this whole scandal. Like you said, it's been going on for a number of weeks now in terms of in the public eye. There's been the release of wiretaps allegedly showing officials talking about this plot. And there was an expectation that the Chief of Staff, Andriy Yermak, an incredibly powerful figure in Ukraine, many see him, maybe even more powerful than the president in a lot of regards, a key man in the negotiations that are taking place right now with the US and the Russian side when it comes to peace talks. People have been anticipating that the investigation might reach his door, and that is what is happening today. As you said, he has released a statement saying that he is cooperating fully in the investigation, but this is a very troubling turn and will be incredibly worrying for President Zelenskyy, given right now he needs to look strong as he leads his country during this most difficult time with pressure from the United States to agree a deal with Russia to end the war.
And Deborah, where are we with that potential deal?
I mean, that's a really good question as well. I mean, it's again been one of those quite crazy weeks of back and forth diplomacy. It's quite head spinning. Earlier in the week there was all this talk about how the Ukrainians might be ready to agree to a deal. There's been a lot of talks. You mentioned Geneva. There's also been talks in Abu Dhabi. There's an anticipation that the American negotiator Steve Witkoff will be going to Moscow next week to meet with officials there. There was, of course, that extraordinary revelation by Bloomberg that got their hands on the transcript of a conversation between Witkoff and the senior Russian negotiator, which really seemed to show that Steve Witkoff was, sort of coaching the Russian side on how to deal with President Trump. And that really affirmed for Ukraine their suspicions that there was greater sympathy for the Russian side than there is for Ukraine when it comes to America's position. So a lot to play for. And this corruption scandal really could not happen at a worse time.